Reese and Banju, Sean, Johnny. I don't know their
You
names.
heard. Oh, look at you trying to
Oh,
show
taco eating.
show
Excuse me.
people something.
Showing a little too much taco.
All right, hi Zen. You're all
Hi, buddy.
excited, like you saw the movie.
You didn't even see the movie and you were excited.
I know.
Well, have a seat, bud. Lay down.
All right, so we are fresh out the theater. We're on the East Coast, so if you're on the West Coast, you might not have been out in or out of the theater yet. So
And you have to
spoilers,
say,
click off. If
Uh-huh.
you have not seen Fantastic Four, we are definitely spoiling it because we're getting into deep dive, juicy details of our first watch. We did our initial reactions, and now we are moving on to our in-depth thoughts after seeing our first watch of it.
Mm-hmm.
And our ratings were a 9.
An 8.
Yeah. So I gave
After expecting.
and after expecting, like I was about to get into that, after expecting it for it to be like a 2, for it to be not have been worth it like at all, for it to have come in hard. In the upper bracket where we had completely expected it to be a 2, a 1. I was prepared to be heartbroken. Yeah, but did Marvel do it? I think they might have. I think they might have at least given reason for hope that there's something to be potentially excited about going forward. Like I think they did an excellent job with the storytelling. I think they managed to reel me back in or give me some semblance of reassurance that, you know what?
They're not done.
They're not done.
They're not out of the fight yet.
Before I get too ahead of myself, welcome to Cinespeed, where we talk all things cinema, television, and the sweets we like to eat while we enjoy these things. We have no treats today because we are just fresh out of the theater, so we already had our treats. We had Impossible Nuggets, Reese's Pieces, some vegan gluten-free gummies, and some popcorn, some Boom Chicka Pop, sweet and salty popcorn. So we've had all our treats, so we will not be having water during this live. But yeah, so
extra mid nuggets. Let's go ahead and rate the nuggets. Extra mid.
I think the last few times we've been to the theater, they've been pretty
always
mid.
Extra mid, mid or below.
So we both ranked the movie very high, and that was unexpected. But let's start from the beginning, shall we?
That sounds like a win.
So we come in on Reed and Sue, and Sue is in the restroom, and Reed is also in the restroom, but on the countertop looking for some yellow iodine and just fumbling about. And Sue is being the way that I think many, kind of the stereotypical, like the aloof man that's trying to find something in the woman who's like rolling her eyes, like that's not where it is. You're totally cold. You're not in the right spot. You don't even know what is happening right now. And we begin to realize that something is up with Sue immediately because she's kind of sitting on the toilet. She's kind of gotten this odd look about her on her face, like she's uncertain, she's confused, and then all of a sudden her expression completely changes, and we find out she's pregnant.
And you could tell that's what I mean. If you knew what the movie was about, you knew exactly what was happening to me. It's like, wow, they got straight to it right off the break. I like that. That was dope.
Yeah, so we dove right in. We dove in on an intimate moment. We dive in on something unexpected for where Marvel has been. And again, they definitely did do a great job of making this a far more grounded movie, oddly enough, even though they did wind up going into space. They brought us in, kind of reminded us of some of the groundedness we got with the Avengers before we entered this space-time continuum age. Like we come in and they're real people. Like Reed is awkward, quirky nerd who's fumbling around and has done something and needs yellow iodine for it. And Sue is just a regular woman who's in the bathroom having one of those moments. And if you've been there, you know, like, okay, the test is doing the thing, and what's it gonna say? Like we come in on a real life, real moment, real person, human to human experience, and then get to see their humanness as they connect over, like, wow, you know, they touch on some real life, real world experiences. Like, wow, we tried for 2 years
and gave up. Yeah, we stopped thinking about this. Yeah,
we stopped talking about it. We stopped thinking about it. We stopped trying. We stopped expecting. We've just been living our life because we had accepted that that wasn't going to be a part of our reality. So we come in from a very grounded and albeit even sometimes a dangerous place to pretend like that is a sensitive topic. And the way I think they did a really beautiful job with the way that they tied it in, didn't linger there, but wove that in there, I think, in a tasteful manner.
He really just did that.
Yeah, we just watched our dog use his nose to open the door and then walk away.
But only for the sake of proving that he can do it.
Yeah.
Because I want it closed. Okay. All right. Doors open. Got you. Lay down.
So we come into that moment and then we're immediately brought into the rest of the family. Herbie, we meet our cute little robot. Who else did he remind me of? There's somebody else. Oh, it reminded me of Groot, how Groot doesn't speak English, but everybody understands what Groot's saying. Herbie only speaks in R2D2, C3PO, and everybody knows
he speaks droid, basically.
What
all right, back up. You're moving the camera.
Is talking about.
Mm-hmm. You're knocking the camera around, but
so we come in on Herbie making dinner, and Ben,
the famous trailer scene, of course.
Yeah, Ben fussing at Johnny because he's coming in, being a child, touching stuff without washing his hands first, sticking his fingers in the pot and all of the things. And then we kind of get a hee of Ben kind of placating Kirby, like, oh, this is so good, but says it needs some garlic, and then we see him adding salt or some other seasoning once it's on the table as well too. And so all of whatever he was saying to Kirby was a bunch of hogwash.
Herbie.
Herbie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You said Kirby.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep saying Kirby. I keep trying to say Herbie, and Kirby comes out. Kirby is also cute, but different universe, different franchise. Anyway, Herbie was adorable. I love how we kind of got a different variation of Groot in that kind of way, where everybody understands him, everybody's talking to him, having full-on conversations, and this man is just speaking in sounds and clicks, and they did a great job making some of his sounds and clicks and rolling of a tape sound like language.
No, they did an excellent job with it. That was incredible. There's one point where he said something that was, you could tell what he was saying. I forgot what it was. It was perfect. The way
and he had spice. He had some sass. So he had personality. So I love the way Herbie came out.
My favorite Herbie scene was changing the tape from Earth to space. That was like, dope. That is such a dope. I never would have thought of that way of programming Herbie or whatever. That was crazy. That was dope.
So we come in, both Ben and Johnny sit down to dinner, and notably who is missing, Sue and Reed. And so Ben gets on Johnny for, again, being a teenager, being a child, starting to eat cereal because he's hungry
impatiently
now,
waiting for everybody to come to the table.
Right. And then, Sue and Sue and Reed show up, doing the stereotypical act normal. Nothing is weird. Be cool, be chill about it. And immediately both Johnny and Ben are like, okay, you're late. And Sue is like, what do you mean
I'm late?
What does that even mean? And they're like, to dinner, you're late to dinner. We're
but
never
then
late
Ben
to
side-eyeing her the whole time. Ben didn't take his eyes off her the whole time.
The whole time, Ben is like, oh, I know what this is. And he immediately calls it. He's like, oh, so you're pregnant. You're pregnant.
That was beautiful. It was dope.
It was beautiful.
Because you could see the dynamics in their relationship at that moment, how close they were. Like, they really got a chance to sink you into the family first. And I think that was cool because they talk about how the Fantastic Four is the first family in Marvel. So they really sunk you into the family of this first. And they showed you that this story is 1000% rooted in family. And that's the core of the story. And it
was very heartwarming.
Yeah.
Like, for where we've been and the action-packed punch, and I'm always going to be here for some kicking ass and fight scenes and choreography and all the things. This was a refreshing twist to what we've become accustomed to seeing with Marvel. Like, they did not bring us into chaos and calamity. They brought us into a family and how
love, affection, glory. They were at the peak of the apex of their heroism.
Good hearts, giving back. Like, we see that they're anchors in the community. We see that they have literally changed the state of their world. And
they were heroes or the protectors of the world, as Silver Surfer asked you, the protectors of this world. They said with confidence, absolutely.
Yeah, and so we come into there on the more micro side of them being the protectors of the world, but also we get to meet the nuclear family unit and see just how, like, you could tell, like, okay, this has been a journey for everyone. Like, you knew when Ben said, oh, you're pregnant. It's like, okay, so we all know this has been a thing. And you see Johnny just kind of sitting there like, wait, like, it takes him a minute to process and digest. And then he's elated. And then I love how we get to see his relationship with Reed versus his relationship with his sister, because he's like, oh, you're gonna be the best mom in the world, and he's like, oh, you're gonna be the best son in the world. I'm just kidding, you're way in over your head, you are far out in the deep end, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into, but he's gonna have some great uncles. And I love, speaking on the uncles, I love that the spin they gave on Ben and Johnny's relationship. Like, that is one thing that has plucked my nerves in all of the other movies, is or particularly the first one, like the very childish and like almost I hate you type of nature and agitation and beef between Ben and Johnny, versus here I definitely appreciated how it was more loving sibling stupidity versus like rivalry beef. If I could, I would knock your lights out permanently.
Yeah, and in the comic books, they do a lot of that. I'd knock your lights out permanently, almost like Ben getting super angry at Johnny, kind of the way it was in the first movie. I think that was very accurate for a lot of the comics I had, but that's kind of ridiculous for real life. So I think what you're saying, like how they played it in this movie, is more like, okay, it's an adaptation from the comics. We want it to be believable, and this, like,
and especially if we're talking about the first family and a family that's setting an example for the global stage, I think this was far more apropos for giving a family that we have plastered all over the globe that's like the family of families and has saved us. I think it would be a bit much if, I mean, I guess it could be very real, but it would be a bit much to be like, oh yeah, our first family, the family we glorify, has like two brothers who are
just constantly warring,
kill each other and damaging public property.
No, I like the way they did this better. They made it much more like sibling, just not even rivalry, because they just kind of like giving each other a hard time, but
like rough and tumble
but not in any way that you're like, okay, this guy really doesn't like him. You don't get that. But in the other movies, you get these two would never be in the same room intentionally if they could avoid it. But here you're like, okay, I can see these two even go and hang out in the movie. So
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that it felt far more brotherly between Johnny and Ben, and that we got to see just as a whole, no one was like, you're the point person, like how we usually get the like Reed is the captain or the leader of the team. How it really genuinely seemed like, okay, you're all equal partners in this experience. We are all leading this team. So I really liked that it seemed like more of a group effort than, okay, Reed is the brains and whatever he comes up with,
we just all follow Reed.
Ducks following in a line. No, I loved that this was, no, we all have our strong suits. We all bring whatever our commentary is to the table. And even though we commented on that earlier with Johnny about how he said you didn't like how they kind of hyper intellectualized him by the fact that he was able to figure out an alien language. But I like that it kind of made him feel like more than just the delinquent little brother, how like that was kind of like the undertone, but not the overtone. It was more like he's still a functional adult. Like, okay, he's eating cereal at the table and sticking his fingers in the pasta sauce, but he's also a very much so participatory a participant in all of the things that we do, and he cares. The fact that he was, little brother coming to Reed like, hey, new suits idea, new suits, it's been 2 years, like, so they let us see the kind of like, okay, he's the baby of the team, but also he's pulling his weight, and he's not like in the other movie he was more of a, you are a liability, you are a problem.
I'm only doing this because I have to, because I have no other place in the world, and because it gets me the chicks,
right?
He wasn't that. Like, his sister was the one trying to say, hey ladies, look at him.
Well, and he did play the low-key chick magnet part, like when he was like, okay, yes, she's basically naked and from outer space, and so the two things that I love in one, women in outer space. So I like that they gave it to us more subtly, and it felt more a part of the story. And not in a way that just the way they had it, the way they wrote it for Steve Evans's torch, I feel like was very indicative of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were several characters who we knew had parallel behaviors. Like that was a very stereotypical character. Yeah, a tropish character you could see in any movie was that particular interpretation of Johnny. So I love the way they crafted Johnny here. Like even though they did give him a stretch for brains, his reason for it, they also still made it very Johnny. Like, okay, yeah, so she might be hot and like, you know, I'm up for the challenge, but how it also was heartfelt. Like he was just like, no one's listening to me. I've realized that there's a similarity. And then when he's like, she said something to me, everybody's like, yeah, she said something to all of us. He's like, no, when I followed her. And then all three of them turn around looking like disapproving parents. Like, and what did she say, Johnny? What did she say?
Here he goes again.
But getting ahead of ourselves. So before we get there, we have this dinner. We find out that Sue is pregnant. And we realize, like, okay, here we're stepping into this new chapter. What does that mean for us as a family that's already been a family, but now we're not just your average family, and now we're about to have a massive change. What do we do?
Yeah, I think he has to go to the restaurant. Great timing, but so you gonna hold him down? You start over again. Yeah. We can carry the laptop with us and the camera. We'll make it an outdoor episode. What better kind of way to do it live? Let's make it entertaining. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be quick.
PRB.
Yeah, be right back. Come on, bud. Let's quick. Outside. Oh yeah, he gotta go.
So am I ending it or am I just...
Nope, just keep it going. I'll be right back. Come on. Potty? Go potty. Go potty.
And none of that bothers you? Not trying to be great.
You'll be ready on the fly, huh? All right. No pause, huh?
No.
Cool. Okay. Remember where we were?
Yes.
Thank
so
you.
She's pregnant. What does this mean as the first family and as superhumans, not just regular family having a pregnancy, but two people who have been, for all intents and purposes, molecularly and genetically modified. Now with two different sets of ability, now giving birth, and also from something they still don't completely and totally understand. Which is what has happened to themselves.
These cosmic rays. I guess maybe I was getting ahead of myself, but also the cosmic rays, and like if you were immersed in Fantastic Four lore or Galactus lore and Silver Surfer lore from the comics, you always knew they called his power the power cosmic. So the way they directly tied that into the Fantastic Four by constantly saying the term cosmic rays, cosmic rays, cosmic rays, I thought that was kind of cool how they drew that in.
And when Galactus eventually calls the baby,
what's that?
Like I think he said something about like he's a cosmic entity, or
well, he said the power cosmic.
Yeah,
he literally said power cosmic, but that's the power that he imbues the Silver Surfer with to give all of his heralds with to give them their power. So it's cool to see that that's how they tie him to Franklin, is through that same power that he gives his heralds in the comics. So cool connection there. But you were talking about them being concerned about Franklin.
Right. So
And his
now,
powers.
before we even know Franklin, we are meeting of the minds of the family of figuring out, okay, well, now that we know that we're pregnant, what does that mean? And so we go through this hilarious montage of Herbie pissing everybody off.
Baby proof in the house.
He's baby proofing the house and making it dangerous. He's baby proofing the Baxter building, but making it dangerous for everybody else in the Baxter building.
Yeah, everybody else is going through
things, pissing
especially
off
Ben and Johnny.
Ben and Johnny, just of course the two people who aren't hyper focused and like in a tizzy over this child arriving.
And Reed getting in trouble for being the scientist as opposed to the stereotypical father. So instead of building a crib, he's Herbie
building machine. He has Herbie building the crib, and he's building machines to try to test their baby to find out, like, does he have any of this cosmic anything? Is his pregnancy at risk? Is Sue at risk? Is the baby himself at risk? And is he imbued with these powers? And what about it? Also jumping ahead again, when Galactus says, "Oh no, your baby's got it. He's hiding it from you." Like the fact that we find out from jump, baby Franklin has the capacity to mask and shadow his powers before he's even popped out the womb.
Yeah, that opens up layers of just like thought. I got all types of math going on in my head. Like, how does he know? Was he conscious before birth? Is he long? But yeah, he definitely, like, they unfolded layers with some of the dialogue they did used in the movie, stuff like that. From the montage, what else stood out at the beginning? Because you went straight from getting to know the family into them. Did they tell the world? I don't remember them actually telling the world or them having a scene where they told the world, but they went to the montage and them getting used to it.
And they were in the process of being celebrated. It was like, 4 years of them having been saving the world, and now they came back different, and woo woo, yay, Fantastic Four. And I think we just eventually find out for them going out and about, because they continued to do missions. We find out that Sue is pregnant. And so then everybody's buzzing about Sue's pregnant, da 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 da. And then shortly after that, we have our montage. They're doing the test. Reed's trying to figure it out. They're building the bait. They're building the things. And then both Johnny and Reed have heard this what do they call it? A signal, a sound waves coming across. And Reed was like, it's really hot, convoluted, layered, and it doesn't make any sense. And I don't think it's in any language or anything. It can't be decoded. It's nothing. And there's several of them. And of course, Johnny he's been looking for something to do, sinks his teeth into it. Meanwhile, that's all happening. They all on their little family watches get the beat of like something's going down. So in the midst of baby proofing the house and trying to figure out if the baby's got superpowers and how is this going to change our life. And, we have our montage of like all of the different supervillains that I was like, dang, y'all the only superheroes on this planet, because y'all is fighting every supervillain on the everything. Mole Man, and again, another honorable mention. I love how they kind of threw, if it was that Scooby-Doo reference of Mole Man being like, dang it, if it wasn't for you, Reed Richards, I would have gotten away with it. It's always you trying to make the world better that stops me in my tracks. Like, I thought that was really cute, and appreciated that.
That's one of their first and most consistent villains. It was dope to see how they translated him, because I didn't think they were going to pull him off, and I hoped he actually wasn't going to be in the movie. That's part of what I thought was going to make the movie corny, and the way they played him, I was actually wow. Like,
and
wow,
they didn't give him he didn't get to have a big part either. I think that's part of what helped too, was he was not a main part of the story. He was just kind of happened.
Yeah, and they made him more of a man
simultaneously. Yeah,
the way they made him in the comics, he seemed more like a creature almost, even though he looked humanoid. It's still like, okay, no human looks like that though. And they made it seem like, okay, this guy is believable as a human, and who knows what his backstory is, but okay, you can tell. I'll listen to you tell me that he controls the underworld and all the creatures underneath the earth. I say earth, but I appreciated that, and the way they did the whole opening montage where they just kind of flashed through them fighting some of the classic villains that the people who really know Fantastic Four lore not me, would really understand. Like I learned some of that through watching some preview stuff beforehand. And so it's dope seeing how they got all the comic lore stuff thrown out up front and really got you nestled into. These are the people you already know. Now here's a story with them quickly.
And then we arrive at our herald, who I was very disappointed by. The only thing that was interesting that our herald said was, "I herald Galactus. I herald your end." Everything else she said, I don't know if the way they had her deliver it or the way those lines were mixed, they just sounded different than everything else she said. All of her other dialogue just fell flat.
Yeah, and I didn't get connected to her at all.
Yeah, no.
I loved her hair though. Like at the first scene showing their hair was dope.
The way they presented her, like I thought it was an exquisite rendering of, and like visually, I thought she was stunning. I thought the presentation of the Silver Surfer was stunning, especially some of those close-ups we got, and you kind of couldn't tell, like, was this painted on her? Is this outfitting? Is it both? And some of the CGI, like how are they doing it? Like I thought it was very beautifully done. Like props to the artists who were a part of putting together and bringing us Silver Surfer visually. But yeah, vocally and with the dialogue, she didn't connect for me. Yeah. The only interesting things were the line from the trailer, which was, "I herald Galactus, I herald your end," like, or whatever it is.
I wasn't even super impressed visually with her as they rendered her, but I love some of the scenes with her, especially the one with by the black hole. That was chef's kiss with her, and her going through some of Galactus's thing and some of her capabilities too, like when she entered their space shuttle.
Yeah, the fact that she kind of like Sue could kind
phase through
things. Oh my God, when she tried to phase through Sue's stomach, I was like, oh my God, you about to rip this baby out of her stomach, and then to get her backstory and find out you were a mama yourself, and that was why you became the herald, and you were about to rip a child out of his mother's womb.
Yeah, that was crazy. They did some crazy stuff when it came to the baby too, like the delivery in space. Sue in zero gravity, basically going through labor, was incredible.
And them trying to strap her down, and her being like, "No," and Reed is like, "Bro, you need gravity to push." So,
and then the way they had Reed suddenly, they didn't make it obvious, like showing him stretch and all that. They showed you, oh, if you look closely enough, you see Reed is stretching to hold her down. He's got his feet stretched up to the ceiling. Like that was cool. How they did it. So much of the stuff with their powers was subtle and not just over dramatized, which was, I think, a nice touch on it. Another really, really nice touch that was like, this is some way of using her powers that I never imagined, which is something I think they did really well with Sue on, is using her visibility powers in interesting ways. The way she made her stomach just visible where the baby was. That was chef's kiss.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. So they did a lot of things in the movie that were unexpected.
And I think their banter was good. Like I did not expect to enjoy Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. And I think still visually, when I looked at him, I was like, okay, something visually about this is still bothering me.
Really?
But in the delivery, like as the movie went on, I was like, wow, like he really does feel like he melted into this role, and the banter he and Sue had back and forth. Like they did genuinely feel like a married couple, friends who actually care about each other. Like I'm not just married, not just in love, but we're friends, and we have this dynamic, and we're not new to this, we're true to this, and we've been in here.
This is what we do. Yeah, I'll say within the first 5 minutes, I forgot all my character concerns that I had for the past couple of years about you cast who and this movie's gonna be stupid. All that disappeared, except one of those opening scenes. Ben cannonballing into the water. I wish they would have kept that stupid scene out of there. I hate that scene with all my heart. It looked like somebody dropped a toy and didn't even try to mask it into the scene well. That was
that, and Galactus is jumping into the Earth. I was like, he should have wound up in Middle Earth. He should have wound up at the center of the Earth. He and Tiamat should have been tap dancing.
Especially if the people under the ground were feeling the what you call it,
but also the feeling he jumped into the water. So it should have been tsunami. New York should not have still been standing. And also, he should have been at the middle of the Earth. Like his big self, his older than time itself self, jumped off of whatever that was on his ship and onto the Earth. He should have broke the Earth.
broke the earth.
Galactus jumped off of something
He
onto
landed
the
in
earth,
water. The water broke the fall.
but in water.
Yeah, the water would break the fall.
Water has a floor. The oceans have floors. Rivers have floors.
True. He was very close to
And he
land
was
too.
so heavy. Like he should have gone through.
Yeah, he should. Something else should have happened.
Like him, full weight going clunk, and then using the buildings to pull himself out of the water.
They also made him a lot smaller than he was, because in the comics, certain comics, I remember him being much bigger than the planet, bigger than Earth. So that was interesting too. But they also say Galactus can expand and shrink himself at will, which
somebody
is one
was
of the
saying
weird
that
things.
we were watching. Was saying he has the ability to size himself for wherever he is. But I'm like, given that he's Galactus, I don't see him being that respectful or caring. Like you're a world eater.
Exactly. And
why would he care to size himself to? Also, something else that irked me. Now we're all completely out of order of the scenes, but something that did irk me was Galactus picking up the baby. If your hands are that big, ain't no way you were able to pick up that baby without
just the
crushing
baby.
it.
And he reached in, crushed the whole building in his palm, and opened his hand, and all that was there was the baby. Everything got filtered out. Incredible filter. I mean, maybe it's machinery. Maybe it's his
I
power.
did love Reed getting into his back though and emptying out some of his, I guess, world goo, world juice, and him going a little bit like,
yes.
my reserves. That I was gonna eat that later.
No, that was kind of cool. And I don't know how Reed figured that out, but I was really happy with Reed's stretchy moments too. Like I didn't have.
I felt bad. That man did Reed like some Laffy Taffy. I was like, are we really about to see him pull Reed Richards into two? Are we going to see the elastic not snap back?
Yeah, I don't understand how he didn't snap him. Like that part kind of annoyed me too. I'm like, why is it taking him so?
And the fact that he looked like he was kind of enjoying it.
I'm like, why is it taking him so long to snap this one dude? Like that should have been.
I think part of that, like, and how he had that sort of slight smile, like he was enjoying it. Like he's the destroyer of worlds, but I think he was also just like. Because he, I don't remember what he called them. It was, I don't think it was like roaches or pests or something, but he was basically made fun of them and was like, oh, that was cute. You tried to like get me in a trap, and really I'm ancient, and you thought
you insects.
A bait and switch was, oh yeah, you insects. Like, I think that tied into me thinking why he didn't just snap Reed and why
somebody pluck off wings on a
I felt like he was kind of messing with all of them, like how he didn't really go hard, and like he could have destroyed any of them at any moment, and he didn't. And it's kind of like what he said on his ship. He's like, I'm gonna destroy your world, I'm gonna eat it, and with your son watching.
Yeah.
And so I think that was part of it. Like he was just like, no, I told you I'm going to do this now. You said no, so here's my retribution.
Yeah, well.
But also interesting how Marvel really does this thing where they kind of almost make you want to have empathy for the big bad, like how we get a little bit on Galactus about like, I've been this way for millions of years, and at one point I was small just like you, and then over time and things happen, and I was born with this, and so I was always destined to be this, but your baby got the cure, so survival of the fittest, I'm ready to be done with this unending hunger, and he can solve this for me. So again, like you still, because a baby is a baby, so you're still in your heart just like, no, nothing's gonna make this right. But interesting how Marvel really does find a way to spin in certain backstories for certain villains that give you some like, okay, so this person isn't just out here like being
evil
horrible
for the sake of being evil.
Like not being horrible just to be horrible. Like there's
they give you some understandable motivation for the villains,
right? Now a villain who I did not understand, Miss Silver Surfer, when we find out that Galactus is not the one choosing his worlds, and she is, then I have more questions for her. Like, okay, so how are you deducing? How are you choosing which worlds go, which worlds die? Like, are you actively looking for some that maybe aren't inhabited, that, you know, some damage wouldn't be done? Because I know as we were watching some coverage on some different comic book runs they had in Fantastic Four, where there were some episodes where the Fantastic Four were like, hey, we found these 6 other planets that, you know, are uninhabited and that you could eat, and, you know, leave us alone. Here's the directions, here's the coordinates, bye, you know, you should be good for a while. Like, why was that not a part of what you were
Yeah.
doing, Madam Silver Surfer?
Yeah, like did she have her humanity, so to speak, erased when she became a herald? And was she just a creature doing his bidding? Did she lose all of her memories of what it meant to be who she was?
Yeah, because it makes you wonder. Because then when we arrive at the scene again, we have now gotten all out of order.
Mhm.
But this is just our first watch.
It's a brain dump.
Brain dump. But we arrive at the basically almost to the end where Johnny, gets to shine because he's cracked the language, he's cracked the code, and he's found out a lot of these messages that they were getting. One was from her home planet, and then another were from all of these other planets that she had allowed Galactus to eat, and how they were crying out for reprieve, for mercy, for them to be saved.
Yeah, just out of pain.
Crying in pain, crying in agony, but also how Johnny said they begged you. They begged you not to. These are the cries of the people who begged you to do something, who begged you to help them, and you didn't. And how he confronts her on every block, every screen there was in New York City in Times Square, and there's a lot. You ever been there? It's covered. Times Square is covered.
That's another one of the things that made me take it down to a 9. That was like, how did he orchestrate that in the midst of everything else that was going on underneath reading them's nose and all this and that? Like, where did that come from? His ability to take control of all these screens in this one location. It felt like it came out of the blue. It was cool what he did and how he got her to change her mind.
And I guess they kind of show us like he's been shadowing Reed. He's been nosing around, like how, and you see he's built this relationship with Herbie. Like it almost makes you wonder, like, has Herbie been helping him figure out certain things or do certain things? Because when we see him in the beginning, when Reed is like, okay, I'm busy, and he's like, okay, I've got free time, and he just follows him around,
hands him the
goggles, because
right
he picks up the goggles from Reed's table, and Reed snatches them back because they're his goggles, and Herbie pulls out a pair for him and gives him that. So I think they kind of subtly built that he's been paying attention. He's been, looking around stuff. Like how he brought out the maps, the mapping and the detailed drawings of the new suits, and was like, I've been looking at this and it's been 2 years. And like, hey, can we talk about this? And the fact that he has scheduled meetings with Reed to talk about stuff. And
that point makes it, that brings something to the fact that he's scheduling meetings.
And how Herbie was like, you got your 2:15, and he was like, I don't have any 2:15. I don't have any meetings today. And he was like, yeah, you do. And then the door opens and it's Johnny. He's like, yeah, thanks for seeing me. I've been really trying to talk to you. And he's like, oh, that 2:15. And how Reed is just really clearly not been taking him seriously.
And it's interesting. I guess, I don't know where I heard this part of the story, but they were talking about how Johnny in this universe just got his astronaut's credentials, I guess, for the purpose of going to space with Sue and them. Yeah. So maybe he is like, okay, he got through his knucklehead phase. He's and he's getting himself to the point using his intelligence, and his intelligence is becoming a priority through this.
Some of the comic runs, how he got his license just in the nick of time, and he had asked Ben to help, he had asked Reed to help, and they were all just like, you're not going to take this seriously, you're not going to do it. So he gets through the training and the education, the school by himself.
Yeah, so
just
that might
time to go on to be a part of
the mission with
them. So
okay.
The fact that we know he had the capacity to even do that.
Become an astronaut says what his capacity, that he has much more mental capacity than I'm used to giving him credit for.
And I think we also get to see that, like, okay, they really did the mashup of like the man-child. Like he's got these childish behaviors and he likes to be aloof and goofy, but he's got intellect, and it's one of those, like, when you apply yourself, you can do great things, but you often choose not to apply yourself.
Yeah.
But we see that there are certain things that do really hook and sink into him, like how his allegiance immediately to Franklin's like, no matter what, we're protecting the baby.
What it takes for Franklin immediately, without a thought.
I'm protecting my sister. I'm protecting blood. I'm protecting our family. And then even, when Ben gets flung into, outer space, and how we've already been given the 411 on the farther and the faster and the hotter Johnny goes, it eats up his oxygen. And so he risked his life to go out of the atmosphere to retrieve Ben and make it back.
I think that one thing I love about Johnny too is Johnny's always been the hot-headed one or the impulsive one in the comics. And you see that in this movie, but you see it in a different way. He's impulsive in a way that's helpful to the team. Whereas in the comics, his impulsivity would often put them in a bind.
And in the first movie.
Yeah, like it showed that he was like you said, there was he's the leader of the team, but not so much because the team all works together and thinks together. Reed's just responsible for his area of leading in the brainy side of things, but it like every time something went down, there was never what you would see in another movie where Johnny would look over to Reed for permission or communicate, I'm going to do it, or get a green light. You just saw Johnny was gone. And he was
there were
handling it.
literally several moments where it was like, where's Johnny?
And he was already on it, just handling business. So I thought that was a nice twist on Johnny too. Is like they made him self-sustained and in a way that wasn't a clash with the rest of the team. It was more like, no, this is Johnny's role on the team. We trust him to go be the recon guy immediately and just get out there. We know he's going to come back. We know he's going to do something well.
How do you feel about our wormhole scenes? Those were interesting.
I thought they were beautiful. I loved.
It felt like it invoked Star Wars for me. Star Wars, Stargate, Star Trek. Like it felt like it was giving homage. Like these franchises walked so that Marvel could fly.
Their way of doing the wormholes, or I guess it was light speed travel in the sense, using wormholes for their travel was incredible. Like the way that it looked like it was just like a liquid almost going around them all the time, or like space was liquefied or plasmified, and how Silver Surfer got caught up in that wormhole with them and would enter the wormhole and come back out and get knocked out and get back in it, and how physics didn't work the same in the wormhole. Like he couldn't shoot her directly, so he had to shoot somewhere random that was nowhere near her, and the wormhole brought the rays around and hit her. Like I thought that was just impeccable. That was incredible.
And again, Johnny showing how he knows how to do what he knows how to do. Like when Ben was like, "Can you hit her already? Can you do your job?" He's like, "Do I tell you how to fly? No. So don't tell me how to do my job."
And then he figured it out. Yeah, Johnny. I didn't expect. He was the character I expected to like the least. It was between him and Sue. I expected to like the two of those characters the least, just because casting wise, I was like, no, that's not Sue. That's not Johnny. And actually fell in love with Sue's character. Like I was like, wow, she really is. Like Jessica Alba was the Invisible Girl, and whoever it was in the last movie, I forgot who it was. That's how inconsequential it was to me. Was a great Invisible Girl too, but like this was the Invisible Woman. Like you got to see this woman was in charge of damn near the world. Like she was a world power, a world leader in a lot of ways, and the world looked to her to talk to them and to explain things and help them see things differently. Like she was the voice of the Fantastic Four to the world. And I love that, like the world respected her. She was world renowned, and I thought it brought something to Sue that I think her character really deserved. She had a lot greater stature than just being Reed's wife, who could turn invisible. She was probably the most visible of all them, and in a way that the world needed. So she was an incredible character. A lot of bouncing around, huh?
Yeah, I agree.
What about the bouncing around?
Well, both the incredible character development and establishment of Sue, and also of everybody individually. Like we got to see Reed be far more introverted and seeing like, oh, this man almost doesn't have the capacity to be the team leader that he's been portrayed as in the comics or in the first movie. Like he really is the brain. And
he's that submerged in his work.
That is the extent. Like he is all about his science, all about his equations. Him and that blackboard, they hang tough, and that is his world. Yeah. And how even Sue brings that up in one of their arguments about like, yeah, sometimes you being you hurts me because he literally just exists in this universe of everything being an equation, something to be resolved or solved, and worst case scenarios to consider and answers to those worst case scenarios, no matter how ironically grim.
It was a thing kind of like Superman. It was a thing about ego too. Like early on, they were the heroes, the champions of the planet, the protectors of the planet. So they didn't really seem too shooken when Galactus got there, for example.
Like they thought it was something they could handle. The Herald showed up and it was like, we got this.
Yeah, they're like, all right, yeah, we'll be back. We'll go knock this out real quick. Be right back.
And then came back a month later and was like, yeah.
So what happened, right?
Whole world cheering like, they're back a month later. Oh, she got the baby. It's great. So how'd you do it? Give us the gory details. Like, oh yeah, that man ain't dead. No. He's on his way, actually.
And he wanted our baby, but we knew y'all wouldn't want us to give him our baby.
So kind of like what the Silver Surfer said. Yeah, y'all go kiss and hug your loved ones because we don't know either how.
Yeah, we're gonna go hug our baby. Yeah, they did a great job with creating the conflict between them and humanity. Like all of that, before walking in, I was like, how are they gonna do this? How are they gonna make this world that loves them hate them, almost hate them? And they resolved that so easily. It felt like though.
Again, they reached humanity through their humanity, like
and again through Sue being that leader,
their sense of human nature and family, and doing the thing that probably everybody else would have been like, why would you do that? But she went and braved the crowd, braved the audience with the baby, the same baby that you're like, okay, you're gonna have to look this baby straight on yourself, hear him cry, and still say the things that you're saying, or still come here and try to steal him to give to Galactus, and stand here, and then all the whispers, and they're like, oh my god, why would she bring the baby out here? Wow, she actually came out here. And the fact that she did the thing that nobody expected her to do, but also had the intuition to know, y'all really haven't considered what you're asking or what you're saying you want to do, and you haven't wholeheartedly thought through what that would mean and what you would have to live with.
Yeah, her heart was incredible. She showed that I'm one with the whole planet. I love that part too. Like she just did an exceptional job with her character, man.
I think they did an exceptional job with the movie. Like even for the few things that were like, okay, that wasn't great. Compared to the last several movies we've had, like even with the Thunderbolts, it was solid, but it wasn't like a knockout the park. Like I feel like this was a pretty close to being a knockout of the park, and like definitely so much stronger than Brave New World. Like this was definitely a makeup day for that. Like this drove home. I think this touched hearts, and I think it gave hope for Marvel being able to rally and continue to deliver heartfelt stories, action that is believable and exciting, but also be able to add some more nuance to it. Because a lot of what we've loved about a lot of the other Avengers movies is every 10 to 15 minutes we're getting a fight scene, somebody's getting dirt shoved up their butt because he's getting slung around, windows breaking, helicarriers falling out the sky, aliens just invading.
Up. Yeah, they're just getting up with this limitless stamina and limitless get to it, stick to it.
Right. But this was real. These were real people who suddenly found themselves imbued with power, and they're just 4 years into it. And so we saw them getting gassed fighting Galactus. We saw them giving their everything. We saw them getting bruised and scraped, and outfits getting torn up. Reed got holes in his suit that's supposed to stretch to infinity with him. And we see that being pulled to its extremes and its end. And we see Sue all busted up and giving her literal life force to save her baby. And
she's incredible.
We see Ben literally bowling down this building's pillars and toppling it in order to help, like everybody giving whatever they had to give. The funny thing about that scene
though was we thought that scene was womp womp from the previews.
And the previews, but to find out it was during one of the pinnacle scenes, and a scene that made the most difference, that allowed Galactus to fall so that Sue could push him into that black hole, and everybody doing their part, to Johnny flying over and having his hand on the lever ready to snap it as soon as his foot passed that threshold so they could open the black hole vortex. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was perfect, man. Well, not perfect, like I said, Ben Cannonball. But beyond Ben Cannonball
and the Herald.
Yeah, beyond that, like there were so many pieces. And I don't even think we have to do a scene by scene recap, to be honest, but they're just favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Any other favorite scenes that really stood out to you? Like I said, the one with the at the black hole, the Silver Surfer surfing through that was incredible to me.
I think them escaping Galactus's ship was like,
I
thought that was an incredible scene, and again showing their superhumanness, but also their humanity. How like Johnny pushed his suit to its limits and actually did wind up maxing out that air capacity that Reed had warned him about, and then having to be like, I see you, bro, I got you, and like while he's running himself, slinging him over his shoulder, and then Sue literally having contractions, and so Reed trying to help her through her contractions to run, and also like the realisticness of like, he didn't do the damsel in distress thing and try to pick her up and carry her or sling her over his shoulder. He walked and ran and paused and helped and held with her. And it was a journey that they all made together. I thought that was really beautiful and poignant too. And it also made it realistic. Like Reed doesn't look like a Ben or somebody who could sling a woman over their shoulders, a pregnant woman over their shoulders and run. Like he's Reed Richards. He's this linky nerd dude, rubber band man he can stretch. He's not a weightlifter. He's a stretchy guy. Yeah. So I love that they kept that very real too. And it also like really painted the stakes of everything. Like, yeah, we've all got these superpowers, but they're all very specific. Yeah. They're very specific. And we are in a completely new and different environment. And
your mic has not been on this whole time.
OMG, my mic
has been coming through on that mic.
Okay, my mic has not been on. That is crazy.
Sound nice.
Womp womp. Cool. But the fact that you got to see like they aren't the Avengers, like there wasn't a god or gods present or superhumans with infinite abilities and variable abilities or cloning abilities to be able to, like, there wasn't a Loki, there wasn't a Thor, there wasn't a Hulk, there wasn't an Iron Man. Like there was no gadgets, there was no pageantry. It's like we've got these superpowers that we have, and what we have is what we got, and our ship is where it is. And so the thing that would give us some extra accoutrement, we're on our way to it. And so you were seeing the real knit grit of us having been vulnerable enough to show up to this planet, well, egoic, and then finding out we were vulnerable, meeting Galactus, and then the real life hustle they had to do to get back to the ship with Silver Surfer on their heels, with Galactus's lava breaking out everywhere. Like it got really real, and we see them, and Herbie manages to catch right on in, and they roll in there, and it closes up. But you got to feel how real it was, and how there wasn't some big, we got this, and easy, quick, it's over. Like, no, it was harrowing for a minute.
This is the nitpicky part of me again. Them getting away from Silver Surfer, how unrealistic that was to me after seeing how fast the Silver Surfer was getting out of Earth, and how they were like, yo, this Silver Surfer moves so fast we couldn't even track her. Like, she moves that fast, how are you all getting away from her with a pregnant woman who's hobbling, and your little rubber band man self and all this and that? Like, that part was hard to justify for me too. So there were some things, that's part of why it's kind of probably an 8 for me. It's like some things were just like, can't explain that one away from me. But again, I was so caught up in the action and enjoying the movie so much, I didn't get hung up on it. But still, in the scheme of things, it worked against the movie.
I hear that.
But still doesn't kill it though.
So I was gonna say, any other favorite scenes?
Galactus and that black hole, the way they did the black hole at the end that Galactus went through, I thought was,
I'd say kind of like my mom said, the nod to Independence Day, like seeing everywhere all over the world erect in record time the portal,
whatever those things were,
the individual portals that were supposed to be a part of turning the world into a teleportation egg.
The egg, I think that.
And everybody calling into the call center saying like, okay, it's done, it's up, we're tapped in. And how we almost see like the Wakandan barrier come up, only to find out like what's happening. Why are all of our satellites going down, and finding out like, oh, the Herald's back.
Yeah, and little things like that. I guess it's movies, so it's supposed to happen, but it's like right at within seconds she's there knocking them out. Okay, I guess. But it kept the movie exciting, so I enjoyed it. But
I also liked how they kind of montaged together them working on the portal rods, and showing how Galactus was slowly but surely getting closer. They're like, okay, he's reached such and such star system. He's reached such and such star system. He's at Jupiter. He's at Mars. Oh, there's our moon. He's here. He's at the door.
His travel was great.
He is not knocking. He is just jumping into our planet, literally.
And how Reed guessed that it would take her 30 days to get out of the black hole. And then I guess
and it was exactly a month that it took them to erect all of the things. And so it's like, as soon as she was out, she went and snitched, and then came.
And here they go. Yeah. So interesting stuff. I'm sure. I wonder how it's going to fare after my second watch.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm really happy with what I saw today, and I'm glad. I'm very happy that they pulled it off. This is definitely the best Fantastic Four movie in my book. Did they beat the other movies for you?
I think I would say there's maybe I was thinking this in the theater that it may be a tie for me for the first and this one. Like I think now I gotta go back and see the first one.
Yeah.
But I felt like I really enjoyed both of them. I felt like I did enjoy this interpretation of Ben Grimm, but I did also still enjoy because while I was creating the thumbnail for this, I did see the other Ben Grimm. I was like, yeah, I still feel like I like that interpretation. I'd definitely say between the three, these two are definitely
the first and this one.
And then I feel like it's almost even comparing apples to oranges because they really did do such a beautiful job with telling a completely different story and bringing us into a completely different dynamic of the team. Like it's not the same team.
You're talking about this one or the second?
Yeah, this one.
Okay.
It's completely different dimensions of the team. And then we're just not gonna talk about the second one. The second one didn't happen.
Really? I thought you were enjoying it a little bit. Did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished it. I enjoyed the concept and the overarching idea of the story. The execution was just horrible. All of the acting was horrible.
Yeah.
Everything was bad. But it was cool to see like the early version of what they wound up using and what was that Infinity War or Endgame where they used to teleport themselves in and out. Like that literally looks like what Hulk and what Banner and Tony put together for when they were going back through time.
Oh, really?
It reminded me of that.
Oh, the thing that Reed built, right?
No, not this.
In the second
yes, in the second movie. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought about it like that. That's cool.
But yeah, so I definitely think 1 and 3 are my favorites. But to hold two completely different like places, like two completely different energies.
Yeah, 2 is definitely the second series, I guess, since they had more than one of part 1. They had a sequel with the Silver Surfer. The second one is definitely the second series, or not even series because it's just one episode. Definitely the trailer and all of this, but this new one right now has me. I'm eager to see that last scene.
So yes, more spoilers. Why did you have to do it to me, Marvel? Why was Doom in their living room with his mask off, thinking he's future, mask off, letting this baby touch his face? When I saw that mask in that hand, I was like, all of my fears have manifested in this moment. This was everything I did not want to have happen. I did not want his face. His baby was in here telling me, you don't see him without the mask. You don't see his face. And there was his face. Robert Downey Jr., we got beef. Marvel, we got beef. Kevin Feige, we got beef.
In all fairness, maybe that wasn't Robert Downey Jr.
So we're gonna have multiple Dooms.
No,
we saw that casting chair.
I mean, all you saw was a hood.
We saw that director's chair. There was a hood and a mask.
So I mean, it could have been any stunt double. So I was just trying to find some way to help you hold off on.
No.
Okay.
It's done. And then the second post-credit scene was kind of womp.
Oh, it was more than kind of womp. It was a waste. I would have much rather left. As a matter of fact, the car seat scene should have been that last scene.
That was funny too. Like, okay, they milked it a little bit. Like, it was a little too like, okay, all right, like, okay.
That's why I feel like that should have been last. Like, if that's the last thing you've seen, it's like, okay, well, goodbye. But the cartoon just made me mad.
And on that note, this has been Cinesuite Marvel Fantastic Four edition.
And thanks to the mothers for going with us.
Yeah, we had so much fun.
Birthday for my mama yesterday, and birthday for your mama coming up soon.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, 2 Tuesdays or 2 Mondays away. Yeah. So a lot of exciting stuff coming up.
And watch for the Cinesuite channel. Babe has been doing a really incredible job getting the logo together, getting the channel up and running. It's at Cinesuite Studios here on YouTube. And she's got a plan for all the stuff that she's about to roll out. She's been editing so much, and she's got a vision, man. I'm really happy to see her in her bag, and I'm just proud of her. So can't wait for you to see what she's been working on.
Thank you. Well, that's all for now. Peace, love, and fairy dust, and stay tuned. There's a whole lot more coming.
Peace.